Yeah, so I just seen an article at the time of me recording this how silver has actually plummeted 9%, almost 10% now. As of this time, as of 11 a.m., almost 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, December, what's today, 29th, as I'm recording this. And it reminds me a lot of Bitcoin when I invested in it back in 2017. See, just in case you don't know, silver this year has been going on a tear. Like it's went up a whole lot. Like if you invested in silver in the year 2025, prior to this moment, you probably made a lot of money. And it reminds me of Bitcoin. Back in 2017, I was telling people how I was investing in it, and it was $3,000, $4,000 a coin at the time when I started talking about it. And by that time, it had already went up, right? But it continued to go up. And it was actually around this time. That's why it reminds me a lot of it. It was in December. Uh, it was around, I think I sold it at about 19,000 a coin, but it went up probably to the mid 20s of thousands before it ended up crashing. And eventually, later on, years later, whatever, not even years, but a year or so later, it ended up rebounding and coming back because today is worth more than that, right? But this is one of those moments where it's like a bubble popped almost. And so it would have wanted me to do it. It inspired me to want to make this video to teach you, because a lot of you may be new to trading and investing in stocks and commodities and forex and things like that. And there are a lot of ways to lose money, right? And some of you may have been doing this for a while and you can't quite figure out, like, dang, if I'd have just stuck to the plan, or if I'd have did this, or oh man, I didn't set my stop loss, all these things. I want to teach you some principles I learned, through my journey through coaching others, right? My name is Blackamore, by the way. If you don't know me, never heard of me. I've coached clients on doubling, tripling, quadrupling, even 10xing their investment, right? 10xing their portfolios. So I just want to share some principles with you that could help you on your journey. Like imagine 10xing. Imagine your savings account or your investment portfolio, the amount that's in there, and imagine it being worth 10 times that in a matter of 3 to 5 years. See, what people have to realize is these different markets, right? And I'm going to talk about the stock market specifically, but these principles pretty much apply to all markets for the most part. People think, like in the stock market, people think that they are trading the stock, right? Or even trading the company or investing in good businesses. And that's not really what's happening. It's really only this thing that matters. And people think, if the earnings does this, then that's going to happen. Or if this news comes out, I'm not saying that doesn't matter at all, but it does, but it doesn't. Because how do we know this? We've seen businesses exceed expectations on earnings and the price not go up. We've seen bad news come out about companies and the price not go down. We've seen good news come out about a company and the price doesn't go up. Why? How does this phenomenon happen? It's not about the facts. It's not even about other people's feelings of the facts, although that's much more closer. But which people's feelings? Do they have the funds, right? It's about feelings and funds. The people, when the facts come out, how do the people with the funds feel about those facts? That's what it's about. I could have an opinion on this particular stock, but if I'm not participating in it with my funds, who cares? If I don't have enough funds to inspire movement in the stock price, who cares, right? So we're looking at people who have millions of, or even just millions of dollars and up. People who have millions of dollars and up, and they're participating in this particular trading opportunity or this stock. How do they feel about the facts about what it is that they're trading? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. This is why one of the first things I started teaching, one of the first principles I like to start teaching is free cash flow, because I understood that a lot of, at least in the types of stocks I was investing in, right, that the people with the funds feel favorable about free cash flow. They know if they see a business that has trending up free cash flow, they like to invest their money in that. That's why. If I was to discover that they don't care about that like that, which I have recently, but we'll get into that in a second, I wouldn't care about that metric as much anymore, which I kind of don't. I do, but I don't. Okay? So news can come out about something, but if the people with the funds don't feel the way, if you misguess, mispredict the people with the funds' feelings about whatever facts is coming out, then you'll lose value. Your portfolio will lose its value. Your portfolio will lose its value. Okay? And it's not about you being wrong every single time. You don't have to be right more often than you're wrong. You just have to have more on the line when you're right than when you're wrong. But the main point of this I want to drive home is your feelings don't matter. The facts don't matter. People with the funds, how they feel about the facts that come out, that's what matters. So as we look at silver, what tends to happen in these situations is eventually, I would predict within the next 3 months, that price is probably going to fall damn near to half of what it's worth at the time when we're recording this video. It's just common psychology that happens all the time. A price goes up a whole lot and then it comes down. Why? Because a lot of people have made money, and especially as fast as it went up. That means a lot of times less sophisticated traders hopped in the trade and they made their money and they want to lock in their profits, right? So that's what a lot is going on now. And so what happens is, and George Soros talks about this in his book, Reflexivity, that whole philosophy, but that's another time. We'll say that for another time. Imagine you have money in silver. Some of you may have money in silver as you're watching this, and you're seeing all the money that you thought you had is dwindling and dwindling. After a while, fear kicks in. They say, hold on, let me just lock in what I can. Right? And then you have people seeing us be like, I knew this was going to fall one day. I'm going to make money off of it falling. And then they short sell the stock. So you have all these different scenarios and incentives to drive the price of silver down. This is what I seen happening in Bitcoin when I got out when I did. This is what's happening in silver. This is what happened in the .com bubble. This, like, all of these things happen. It's people who are invested. They see that they're losing money, and it's only so long before their fear gets the best of them and they cash out. There's short sellers. If you don't know what that is, maybe you sign up to my Patreon so you can learn how all this goes, or do your research, or you can look it up, whatever. Short sellers come in. There's new people who's just trying to. It's just different scenarios, and also we are more primed for negativity, right? So all we got to see is some bad news come out. And the thing is less sophisticated buyers in the trade. They're going to feel negatively about that bad news. The bad news ain't even got to be real. So much information, so much misinformation can spread these days, right? And it can have an effect before the truth gets to come back around and say what it really is. This video isn't intended to be like an official prediction, or I think silver's going to do this or that. But I just thought it was a moment that reminded me of a situation. And these moments happen fairly often. And they're they're opportunistic moments. There's an opportunity to make money here. So I go more in depth in that on my Patreon. Or if you want to learn more about stocks and my philosophy and how I approach it, as somebody who has helped people double, triple, 5x, 10x their accounts, sign up for the Patreon. It's a 7-day free trial, and after that, it's just $10 a month. Can't beat it, right? But all in all, be careful. And the market doesn't reward haste, right? Like they say, haste makes waste. But it does reward patience. So I just want you to keep that in mind. And I know this will help somebody out there. Check you on the next one. Peace.